The release of Splatoon 3 gave us many quality of life improvements compared to Splatoon 2 that make the game feel much more enjoyable. However, a lot of people seem to have noticed that Splatoon 3 is now missing features that were in the previous games, as well as some features that are yet to be added in the series but that are really needed. So for this video, I crafted up all of the quality of life improvements I could think of to implement into Splatoon 3. I'll be starting us off with the changes that were in the previous games, with the first one being the gear experience point bar in the menu. In Splatoon 1 and 2, we can see that in the changing menu, the gear experience point bar was completely visible for all of our gear. This of course was super helpful for knowing how close you were to your next ability slot, or in the case of Splatoon 3, when you have all your ability slots filled and getting an ability chunk. In Splatoon 3, we can only see our gear points after finishing a match in the results section. I wish there was some possible reason for why it's only displayed after a match. After a lot of thinking, I can't find a single reason why they would exclude it from the changing menu. Of course, adding this back in would be really easy and make everyone's life easier for choosing our gear and all that good stuff. So I'm hoping to give us back our trusty EXP bar. Next up is one that was complained about in Splatoon 2, which still didn't get changed in Splatoon 3, which is explanations on what sub and special power-up do for every sub and special. Since the abilities were introduced in Splatoon 2, they've always simply stated, upgrades your special weapon and upgrades your sub weapon. Now it's already frustrating having to look up what the abilities do for each sub and special, but it's even weirder that Nintendo decided to detail the effects of main power-up in Splatoon 2 for every weapon, which of course was a great thing, but they never ended up doing it for sub and special power-up in Splatoon 2 or 3. And it's not like it would be any more complicated to explain the effects on subs and specials compared to main weapons, as they're all relatively simple to explain briefly, as you can see with this concept I made. Of course, it is just a matter of learning at the end of the day, but for newer players, it's important to explain this stuff as they might just slap these abilities on their gear, not knowing that it might be useless with their sub or special. So it's definitely an important feature to add in my opinion. One last small one for the gear menu is to display the sensitivity before registering a freshest fit. To explain, right now it only shows the sensitivity for the fit that is registered at that moment and doesn't show the sensitivity you're at when hovering over the register button like it does for the close. For people like me that change my sensitivity depending on the weapon I play, when I accidentally press register because it didn't display what my sensitivity was, it becomes annoying to have to re-register at the right sensitivity each time, so this small change is still worth mentioning. Now on to my favorite section, which is the lockers. There's many things that the lockers lack at the moment, but the biggest one in my opinion are save slots. The thing I find most annoying about lockers is the fact that if I decide to change my locker and want to put it back to my old one at some point, I'll have to take a photo of my current locker and painstakingly put everything back in its place. Adding locker save slots would fix this issue. As you can see with this concept, by simply pressing the minus button, like with Freshest Fits, you would be able to save your locker to one of 5 slots. You could also use your amiibos to save slots, which would be a really cool addition to the amiibos. The only downside would be that there might be a pretty long loading screen when changing between slots to let it render everything back into its previous state. Otherwise, this is a perfect feature to add to the locker system. The next feature that the lockers need is a layering system for stickers. When you're putting stickers on your locker and you want to rearrange what's on top of what, you're first to go delete what's there, replace it as the first sticker, then put a new sticker on top. And it's even worse when there's more than 2 stickers on top of each other. I think that instead of having to delete and replace each time, we should simply have a setting to move the sticker up a layer or down a layer, to make everything easier. As you can see with this concept, you can access the menu by pressing on a sticker and using the D-pad to select which layer you want it on. Next up is a super simple one, which is undo and redo buttons. Nothing much needs to be said here, just allowing us to undo or redo the last placement or deletion with the quick press of the left and right D-pad buttons. Super helpful and easy. The next locker change is being able to slow down the speed at which we move an object. If you want to precisely place an object or sticker in your locker, you need to make micro movements of the control stick to get it just right. Being able to change the speed of the control stick movement will be a huge help for this. I'm thinking that there could be 3 speeds that you can shuffle through by pressing down on the left control stick, ranging from super slow, slow, and normal speed. Finally, the last locker change is changing the physics of the lockers. This is a very complicated one as I have no idea how physics engines work and run, but it's evident that the locker physics are kinda messed up at times. I'll have weapons jammed in weird spots, objects tilting and falling for no reason, so if they could figure out how to fix these issues, it would help a lot to keep everything aligned properly in the lockers. Now our final change for this video is bringing back squid beats and minigames. The minigames in the Splatoon series have always been a thing that I've enjoyed playing, but through each iteration of Splatoon, they've decided to remove something for no reason. Splatoon 1 had so many minigames during pre-match queue, and Splatoon 2 removed all of them except for squid beats, and made it accessible in the lobby. And honestly, it was improved quite a lot, and was very fun to play. Now with Splatoon 3, we don't get any of the Splatoon 1 minigames back, and we lost squid beats. Of course, we did get Table Turf War, which is probably the best minigame we've gotten so far, but it's still weird that they feel the need to take away the rest of the minigames from us. I hope that in a future update, they'll decide to add back squid beats and maybe even some of the Splatoon 1 minigames to add even more things to do besides the normal modes. And there we have it. That about wraps up all the quality of life changes I'd make for Splatoon 3 so far. While it sucks that these changes and features aren't in the game yet, we can't deny that Nintendo improved many aspects of Splatoon which make the game more enjoyable. We can only hope that it continues to improve in the future. If you have any ideas yourself for quality of life improvements Splatoon can use, feel free to comment them below. I'll see you around!